This is Bill DeFoi, and today we're at 99.1 The Ranch, which is a country radio station in Simi Valley, California. And we're here today to talk to two special individuals. Oh, they're calling me now. Let's go on inside and find out who they are. And welcome to In the Community. I'm Bill DeFoi. Joining me today on my right is Rene Solem. She is with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ventura County. And to my left, when I think of play-by-play announcers for the Los Angeles area, I think of four names. Ralph Lawler with Los Angeles Clippers, obviously Vin Scully with the Dodgers, Chick Hearn with Lakers, and the gentleman to my left, Bob Miller, 40 plus years with the Los Angeles Kings as their play-by-play announcer. Bob, good to have you with us.
Thank you, Bill. It's nice to be here, and I might mention that Chick Hearn was the one who got me my job with the Kings.
Really?
So I was very indebted to him. We were good friends, and I think he'd probably be very happy that the guy he picked was there 44 years with the Kings. So we had a nice connection together.
You started off with Jack Kent Cook.
Yes.
As the owner
Thanks
of
for
the
reminding
Kings.
me about that.
There's got to be somewhere in your memory a great Jack Kent story.
Well, there are about 50 of those stories, and at the time I didn't think they were great stories, but I've told them before because he was a hands-on owner, and he was interested in the broadcast, and he'd sit in his box at the Forum then, and he'd had a transistor radio up to his ear, and he'd had binoculars looking over at the press box at me. And I thought, uh-oh. And he told me, sell season tickets. So every time I'd hear a bell ring, I was like Pavlov's dog. I heard a bell, and I thought, that's Cook calling me. So it would have been anywhere in the Forum. I'd hear a bell, and I'd say, don't forget, season tickets are available. and I mean, things that, like he said to me one time, he had this great stentorian voice, dear boy, do you know who my next door neighbor is? I had said something the night before on the broadcast that I thought was humorous. And I said, no, Mr. Cook, I have no idea who your next door neighbor is. Well, it's Jerry Lewis. He has 14 writers. You don't have any. Don't try to be funny. And I would think of that every time something would pop into my head. Hey, maybe I'll tell this. No, Cook will be listening. I better not tell it.
What was it like working? There's got to be a difference because the Kings were eventually sold to Dr. Jerry Buss. Mm-hmm. How big of a difference between the two owners?
Like night and day. Cook was hands-on, as I mentioned. Jerry Buss, sometimes I almost wanted to ask him, Jerry, do you ever listen to the broadcast or the telecast? Because he wouldn't say anything. He was an owner that would hire you, and if you did the job, he left you alone and do it. And I think that's the right way to handle things. And if he had a complaint, he would call you into the office. Cook would just have it all over the Forum on the PA. Bob Miller, report to Mr. Cook's office. You'd walk down the hall and everybody go, you're in trouble now. You're in trouble now.
What'd you do, Bob?
Yeah.
Oh, my. Bob, you're also an author, and you've got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, that was very, very, I mean, those are things when you start out in whatever profession, you don't even think about that. You know, whether it's a Hall of Fame in baseball or hockey or basketball, I don't even think players start out thinking, that's my goal, because it seems so outrageous and so far out of reach. And when it does happen, it's really exciting. And so when I got the call that we're going to put a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, it was really exciting. And they do it, as you know, right on Hollywood Boulevard, block the area there. And the funny story, my in-laws, my wife's sister and her husband said, we want to come out and see that ceremony. And they got out here on a Friday. The ceremony was Monday. And Judy's sister said, I want to see that Hollywood Walk of Fame. And I said, well, you can go down there. So we went down there, and she said, now where is your star going to be? And so we went over to it, and it was barricaded with some wooden barricades around it so people didn't walk on it or anything. So I was standing there, and my sister-in-law said, I want to get a picture. So we were standing there, and a woman and about her 25-year-old daughter stops right beside me. And the woman says to her daughter, I wonder whose star this is. I didn't say anything, and they stood there, and she said again, I wonder whose star this is. And so finally I said, it's my star. She said, yeah, right. And walked on down the street. And then she came back, and I said, 10 o'clock Monday morning, tune in TV and Fox Sports. And I don't know if she did or not, but if she did, she got a shock, thinking that was that guy. So it was a funny incident.
Oh, my goodness. How valuable was the acquisition of Wayne Gretzky to the Kings?
I think you almost can't put into words what that meant, because it took the Kings from a team that was not real popular to a team that was the most popular at that time in the National Hockey League. Sold the most souvenirs, memorabilia, and everything. The greatest player, scorer in the history of the game. You get arguments on who was the greatest player in the history of the game, Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, but the greatest scorer in the history of the game, and people wanted to see him. And we had people call the day it was announced that he was traded to the Kings, and they said, I want 4 tickets, season tickets. And the guy would say, oh, well, we don't know what they're going to cost yet. I don't care. Here's my credit card number. Put me down for 4 and just put the price in there. And all of the Hollywood celebrities wanted to be there and see him. And I said, that's like if we ran into somebody who said, you can go see Babe Ruth play. You'd want to see Babe Ruth play. And they wanted to see Wayne Gretzky play. And it made a tremendous difference in the publicity for the Kings, not only in Southern California, but throughout the entire National Hockey League in North America. We'd leave a game on the road, there'd be 200-300 people around our bus at the end of the game wanting to get Wayne's autograph, and he would sign as many as he could until the coach said, Wayne, we got to get to the airport to fly to the next city. So he was very accommodating, but he was very astute at looking at people, and I thought, it's kind of rude. He'd take your program and sign for you, but he'd be looking at you. And I thought, why isn't he looking at the person that asked him for the autograph? And then the person would come back and ask for another one. He'd say, no, I've already signed yours. He'd remember who he signed for. I'll sign 1, I'm not signing 2 or 3 for the same person. So that's why he was looking somewhere else while he signed yours. But, he brought the Kings to the top of the league as far as interest and publicity and season ticket sales. Never won a Stanley Cup with the Kings. We got close in 1993, went to the Stanley Cup final and lost to Montreal, but he was tremendous in promoting the LA Kings.
One of the things that kind of leads to is the Kings have actually won a couple of Stanley Cup championships.
Yeah, 2012, first time in 45 years for the team, 39 for me in my career with the Kings. And it was getting to the point where I thought, I don't know if I'm ever going to see this happen, and I'll probably retire and they'll win it the next year. So I was glad I stuck around. And so we won it in 2012. We were the 8th seed to get in, the last team to get into the playoffs. Didn't have a great year, and all of a sudden, once the playoffs started, we ripped through the whole Stanley Cup playoffs, had a 3-0 lead in all of the series that year, and wound up winning it over New Jersey in Game 6 in 2012. The next year, we got beat out by the Blackhawks in the playoffs. The next year after that, we beat the Blackhawks in the playoffs, and that year, we started out down 3-0 to San Jose. 1 loss away from being eliminated in the first round. We won 4 straight. Eliminated. Only the 4th team in NHL history over 100 years to come from 3-0 down to win the series. And then went on and had, won in a Game 7 against Anaheim, won in a Game 7 against, well, first of all, San Jose, then Anaheim, then Chicago in Game 7, 3 straight Game 7 victories, which were so exciting. A Game 7 in any sport is so exciting. And then beat the New York Rangers in the finals that year. So both of those were tremendously exciting, and ones you wouldn't trade, because that's the goal of anybody. It's into that. You want to win that Stanley Cup championship, and we finally did it. I said at the end, the 45-year drought is over, and a lot of fans. I mean, there were tears in their eyes. They were celebrating and everything, and it was great. And the great thing was we had about a 6-1 lead, maybe 6-2 in the final. So for the final 4 minutes or so, you knew we had it won. And the fans are chanting, "We want the cup." And my partner, Jim Fox, who played for the Kings, he's going, "No, don't say it." He's so superstitious. He thinks, well, 2 minutes ago, we may not win it. But he said, "Don't say that, don't say that." But they could just celebrate, the fans, the players, everybody. And it was a tremendous thrill.
Wonderful. You have since retired from the Kings, and one of the things that the Kings have done is honored you at the Staples Center with a press box named after you.
And the funny thing was, we didn't work in that press box. I said it was too high. And the guy said, "We want it to be lower?" I said, "No, that's too low." So I said, he said, "Where do you want to be?" I said, "How about the top of the 3rd level of suites?" And they built 4 broadcast booths there, home radio, home TV, visiting radio, visiting TV, and that's where we worked out of. But it was very nice of the Kings to do that. I was honored by that. I go up to that press box at the start of every season just to see if my picture is still on the wall, if it's still the Bob Miller press box.
Well, I would imagine that it is and forever will be.
Well, thank you. And the author came about where I've got so many stories. People always said you should write a book, and I hesitated because I didn't want to write about players and then have them think, "Be careful, don't talk to him because he's writing things down." But it wasn't a tell-all book. It was simply anecdotes that went on down through my years with the team. And when they won the first Stanley Cup, I thought, I've got to write something about this. So it's a combination of stories of what went on. You could put it down and pick it up 6 months later and not be wondering what happened. There's no thread to it. So it was pretty easy to do. I had all those stories in my mind, and I was glad I did it. And then wrote a second book after they won the second Stanley Cup.
So for purposes of some very shameless self-promotion, what are the titles of the books?
First one was Tales from the Los Angeles Kings. The publisher had a series of books that were titled like that. Tales from the St. Louis Blues, Tales from the Calgary Flames, and so they wanted to keep that. And the second one was Tales from the LA Kings Locker Room. So they reprinted some of the stories in the first book, and then I added stories about winning those Stanley Cups and the parade and the celebrations we had.
And finally, we're coming into this season now, coming up in October. You're going to be the celebrity host for a golf tournament. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk to Rene here in just a moment for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ventura County.
I'm honored to be asked to do that again. It's the 3rd year, and the Big Brothers Big Sisters benefit so much from that golf tournament, charity golf tournament, and it helps these young kids have a mentor that helps them along getting their life in order, getting their life focused. And so many of them have great stories, and they're great individuals who benefit from these mentors. And you can sign up to be a mentor to these young boys and girls and help them along. And we hear from them at the golf tournament, at the dinner afterwards. We hear from the youngsters and what the program has meant to them, and it's very impressive to hear what they've done and what their future looks like. And it means so much to the mentors who help these kids along. It's very satisfying to them also. So anyone interested in that, Rene will fill you in on how to go about that. And you don't spend your life with them, but you spend some time just being a big brother and big sister to these kids. And it means so much.
That is such a great segue. It would be like you're a professional at doing this.
A little experience.
A little bit of experience, right? 40 some odd years. Rene, good to have you with us again. Tell us a little bit about the organization of the Big Brothers and Big Sisters of Ventura County.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having us, and thank you so much for sharing all that you did. We absolutely love you as our host.
Thank you.
So Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Ventura County celebrated their 50th anniversary this past year. And so we are on our 51st year of serving the community here. And our territory spans from the Santa Barbara Ventura County line to Calabasas, out to Piru, and everything in between. We touch approximately 1,500 families, children per calendar year. This past year, being the pandemic, was a little off, but we're looking to get those numbers back up.
Well, I know that you do a number of activities and fundraisers throughout the year. This is one of the biggest ones, which is the golf tournament. That's coming up on October the 11th. Tell us about it.
Yes, so it is our 47th year of hosting this golf tournament. We like to call it the largest celebrity fundraiser event in the community, and we bring in the most funds of all of the events that we do host annually, so it is a big event for us. We start the day with a continental breakfast. We have lunch out on the course. There's beverages throughout the day, silent auction, live auction. As Bob mentioned, we have a little and a big always there minimally. I think 2-3 years ago we had 7 littles that spoke, and I don't believe there was a dry eye in the audience. So they share their stories about what the program has meant to them and how it's impacted their lives for the better.
Well, very good. Go ahead.
The event will be, as you indicated, October 11th, and it's taking place at Moorpark Country Club.
All right. And so tee-off time, what time is that?
8 a.m. is check-in, and we usually tee off at about 10 a.m.
And so with people wanting to get involved with the golf tournament, how might they go about doing that? Obviously, we'd like to get a phone number, and we'd also like to get perhaps a website.
Absolutely. So our phone number is 805-484-2282. And again, that's 805-484-2282. You can also go to our website at www.bbsvc.org/golf. And so that's bbsvc.org/golf.
And so what is the entry fee into the tournament?
Yes, so it's $450 per golfer, and that includes all of the activities throughout the day and into the evening as well.
Sounds like a plan, and you're going to have live auctions and silent auctions and all of that kind of good stuff.
We have an impressive auction set up, yes, live, silent. We have, like I said, dinner, there's cocktails. Mr. Miller will be there. He's always sharing some really fun stories, too, let me tell you.
Well,
I don't play golf. People ask me, are you playing? I said, no, but I did shoot 3 over in Palm Springs a week ago. 1 over a house, 1 over a pool, and 1 over a patio.
Well, you sound like me. The first time I ever went golfing, I shot a 72, but that was just on the first hole.
Yeah, right. I know what that feels like.
It's like zing, 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 and anyway. Bottom line is, we've got the golf tournament coming up on October the 11th, and for more information, let's give out that telephone number and the web address one more time.
Absolutely, thank you. The phone number is 805-484-2282, and the website is bbsvc.org. bbsvc.org/golf. So that's Big Brother Sister Ventura County, bbsvc.org/golf.
Very good. Bob, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure to be with you, and I'm glad Rene was here to fill everything in about numbers and websites. And I think if you come out and sign up and play golf, you'll have a great time out at the Moorpark Country Club on October 11th.
All right. Rene, thank you so much as well.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
And we look forward to chatting with you closer to November, because you got another big event coming up then.
Absolutely. Bags, bling, and bubbly.
Yes. So we'll be chatting with you probably in September for that one.
Fabulous. Thank
All
you.
right. And thank you for joining us. I'm Bill DeFoi. This has been a production of the Heritage Media Group. That puts a wrap on it for today. I want to say a special thanks to Bob Miller from the Los Angeles Kings and Rene Solem from the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Ventura County organization. I'm Bill DeFoi, and a special thanks to Strategic Communications and 99.1 The Ranch. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. In the Community is a production of the Heritage Media Group.